Ready when you are, CB. Do I start in Canada or Mexico?
We didn't do Animal
Are
Kingdom.
we really AK haters?
From New York, Dillo's Diz Live, starring Frank and Jen Dillo. This is Mr. Snidillo in studio along with music by Matt Harvey, inviting you to join the Dillos and their guests while they tangent and wax nostalgia. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Frank and Jen.
This is Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank, and we are here live on our YouTube channel, on the Facebooks, I believe. I can't confirm.
Yes.
And on the X, Twitter.
Mm-hmm. All correct. I as long as StreamYard's not lying to us, that's, I think, where we are.
It's Theme Park Thursday Eve, unless you're listening to the audio on Theme Park Thursday or whenever you happen to plug in and listen to your favorite podcasts all throughout the year and the month and the days and the hours. Suddenly I was turning into Juliet and Romeo and Juliet there for a second.
Wow. Yeah,
But
nice.
as we load up on the YouTube channel here, hello to Steffers and John here.
Hello.
This evening, we have I feel like a more focused talk than usual.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But there is like the matter of how we got here, because Jen, you and I saw each other on Sunday night, though there is no photo evidence, on Sunday afternoon.
Sure. Yes. Allegedly. Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 8-year-old was performing a concert reading of James and the Giant Peach,
Mm-hmm.
in which she played the role of the spider.
Yes. Loved it. Kids loved it. We want to see more shows.
More shows.
We're ready. Yes.
I know they already announced next year, but no spoilers.
Oh,
right?
oh man. Mm-hmm.
So we
just before your eyes. Do you know how many times that has been sung?
It's the 5th revision of this song. It was it definitely stays with you.
Yeah.
But after I saw Jen on Sunday, then when it gets to Sunday night, I just start going, what are we gonna what
Mm-hmm.
day is it? What month is it? What year is it? What are we gonna talk about on Theme Park Thursday this week? And as of Sunday night, I was like, no idea.
That's too early to plan that.
I'm like, do I have to try to get a guest to do it? And really, all that was in my head was like, oh, Tiana's is officially opening later this weekend. And, people have been going on it. Maybe we should try. That's all that was in my head.
Mm-hmm. In my head, just to say, in my head, I was like, well, last week we said it was a Wish and an Inside Out 2 recap. So we'll do that.
I never got to Wish. I knew I wasn't
Obviously,
getting to Wish on Sunday. So I knew that was out 6 months later.
Yeah.
So then it gets to Monday, and Disney starts dropping the halfway to the holidays graphics.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, now here come the announcements. We got something to talk about if necessary. And to that, Mrs. Dillo was watching a Hallmark movie, that just like a regular old Hallmark movie, but they're promoting the Christmas in July Hallmark Christmas thing happening. By the way, the first new movie is this Saturday when it's still the month of June. I don't understand.
Here we go.
Like, what? You're not even doing Christmas in July like this anymore. What is happening?
I mean, they started before Halloween for Christmas, so.
Right, and it's when our tree goes up now because of the Hallmark movie watching.
Whatever makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy.
So I was like, okay, so I'll put together the little graphic and I'll call it Christmas in July. Jen will get angry, and that's where we'll go. And then Tuesday comes around, and Bob Iger comes in with his sickle and his cloak, and like death, he pulls Genie Plus into the underground. I had no idea that was the visual I was about to create, but here I am. And then here comes we're just calling it lightning anymore now. It's a multi-pass. It's a look away. You can't do this in Canada. All these things that we need to talk about. So there was that part. So I was like, oh my God, Now we have two like pretty big things we have to talk about on the podcast. But to go back to your original thought, which was, now Jen has seen Inside Out 2.
That's right.
We need to have more of an extensive Inside Out 2 conversation, which we'll save for the latter half. And I promise maybe not the last 10 minutes of the podcast like we do.
Don't make promises.
But we will. Where Jen has a spin on the pick six, I guess the pick six we've been doing recently, and we'll explain all at another time. So no, you can't rank on the order tonight, but it's 1 halfway to the holidays, 2 R.I.P. Genie Plus, and 3 pick six Inside Out 2 edition. That is the order that we need to go in. But it's the end of the school year, so Jen and I both are like, what's happening? If you were at DillowsDizResort.com last week, Jen and Mr. Snidillo held a technologically pristine live stream.
Oh my God, the worst.
I just know by the comments how you can't be outside the Long Island Railroad.
No. Yeah, doing all the renovation talk I am at the headquarters of Mama and Papa Dillow. I did try before going live, which I warned Mama and Papa. I'm about to go live, just letting you know. I did also try to get Papa Dillow. Why don't you come on? Why don't you just sit next to me? People will go crazy if it just starts and you're there. No. Okay. All right. That's fine.
Maybe, I mean, again, as we haven't made any more reservations, we need to focus on some things in August.
Yes.
Maybe, you're gonna have to start doing the old distraction game anyway.
Correct.
So maybe as it eases closer to the time.
Yeah, but it is the last day of school here in this neck of the woods. We finally did it, everybody, on June 26th. Here we are. It's finally the last day of school. But luckily, that means I might actually be in this neck of the woods as opposed to driving across the island back and forth every day. I'm over it, so it came at a good time.
Here in New York City, the first day of school was on whatever September date that was, but it was the morning of the start of our meetup last September.
Yeah. And
the fact that now is the end of school, I don't even know how that's possible.
It's crazy. In the blink of an eye. Let me add just a side tangent. The 8-year-old, is she like happy? Is she like, because most people are like, oh, it's the end of school, yay, and the kids are all happy, and adults assume kids are happy and all the things. Is the 8-year-old a happy camper when school ends?
I think there's mixed emotions this year. I would say usually like, oh man, she's bummed school's over. But now it's like a mix because there's a new camp experience this year. So she's into that. But I think with her theater season ending and the end of school, I feel like that's been built up a little bit more.
Right.
Than
a lot of things coming to an end at once.
Yeah, I can't do more than one. In the chat here as we live stream on our YouTube channel, John mentioning the Bob Iger poll. Listen, half of the X Twitter blames the people at the top, so that's what I go with. I follow the X Twitter. I just follow. That's what
we do. Isn't everything on there the truth? Is it not?
Is it not?
Right.
I found myself ridiculously falling for something a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh my God, I gotta get off for a little while.
Because then you go, I'm just going to click on the comments. Let me just see what people are saying. And then you just downward spiral.
And down you fall, the X Twitter. Yeah. So this is where we are. There's things to talk about. So I don't think we have to dilly, as I say to the 8-year-old, don't dilly-dally for too long. I say that all the time. Don't dilly-dally. I say dilly-dally a lot. I don't know if I started that or Mrs. Dillow started that, but I say dilly-dally all the time now.
I mean, I would blame you because it seems like an old man thing to say, but maybe. I don't know.
Huh. Do you find yourself saying hotsy-totsy? How about that?
I never say hotsy-totsy.
But do you recall hotsy-totsy? That's the question.
Oh, yeah, now I do. Now that you said it, and I almost said it out loud going, no, I don't. Oh, yes, there it is. There's the voice right there in my head.
I hear the thunder in the distance here in New York City. But so that, that's what I go. Did somebody I know say dilly dally in my life? Because that's not how I started saying it. I don't know, but regardless, I thought maybe it was also Hatsi Tatsu.
Can I just, okay, I'm going to side tangent one more time. And then we're not dilly-dallying anymore, I
That's
swear.
right.
But because we're talking about things in the past, and then I start thinking about like singers and songs and the things from our childhood. Let me just say that there's someone on TikTok that I kept seeing his videos a bunch, and he was shouting out songs that people have made that are certified bangers, right? And then he started a Spotify list. I'm like, you know what? I'm following this Spotify list. I know you don't have the Spotify, so this was discovered on the X. So but I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to follow this playlist. And so today on our commute back this way, I started going through, because a lot of those songs, like there's Evanescence on there. There's, there's some boy bands. There's some Paramore, which you also only just learned about. And so there's all these things. And so I'm going through, there's Adele on there. These kids are like, after 5 notes, no. And then, never gonna give you up. That starts, and they're like, yes, this song. I'm like, right, this one you guys want. But did you hear that Evanescence song? Do you guys understand the power of this? Can you just give it? They gotta go big. It's gonna happen. But no, they appreciate the 80s, I guess. I don't know.
Fun fact about that Evanescence. First of all, I love that Evanescence. Right. So a time capsule in my life right before the mid 2000s. But the first it was like a theme song for a wrestling pay-per-view. That's how I first heard it, believe it or not. But then I directed a show at Stony Brook University on a main stage, and I basically like centered like the transitions of the scenes to most of the songs on Evanescence's debut album.
Oh.
And this has gone as a tangent. We definitely have I had to throw in a couple other songs kind of to mix it up, but also because the cast wanted to incorporate some songs. I was like, this should be inclusive. And but there was at least 4 or 5 of songs from Evanescence's first album that were featured.
So good. All of it. How do you not love it? Dua Lipa did not come up, Jeffers, to answer your question. I don't know. I didn't get through the full playlist, so maybe on there. But
today I rattled off tonight. I said, okay, who did kids talk about at school besides Taylor Swift? I was like, they talk about Olivia Rodrigo and a little bit. Are they talking about Miley? I was like, I mean, she had that one.
I feel like she's over now with the youngins.
Goodbye, myself, flowers. That's all.
That's pretty old.
It's an old song. No,
that
it was Grammys this year.
What?
Well, yeah, she won like Grammys this year for that song.
Oh,
you need to get with it. I do. Get into it.
My apologies.
But then my favorite was the 8-year-old says, and the boys, they're talking about, I don't know, something with a rat and a mouse. I couldn't get there. I couldn't figure out. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. But it sounds like a good band.
And you still don't know.
Mouse. I still don't know the answer. So if anybody out there knows,
please tell us.
What band could be referenced for the rat or the mouse? Please let us know. I also, before we really get started, want to mention, because at the end of the podcast, last week I brought this up, but we are going on a Disney cruise this August. We are trying to procure we want to have like the door of magnets.
Yes.
Right. So we're trying to do like a magnet exchange or whatever. We'll get our magnets out there you eventually, but I know we're going on a cruise, so we got to get your magnets first.
Yes.
So this is our P.O. box. Jen barely gets there when she lives in the town.
So it'll go great this summer.
But we'll see. Please send any promotional magnets you want featured on our door on our Disney cruise.
It's gonna be good. We got 2 doors. We're right next to each other. We got the 2 doors. We can just put them all up there. I love it.
I'm gesturing to the address, but if you're listening to the audio, I do have to say Dillo's Diz, 55 Gerard Street, number 987, Huntington, New York, 11743. Not, as they said on the all-new Mickey Mouse Club, Lake Buena Vista, Florida, 32830.
But we should. But what if we could have a P.O. box?
What if we could have a P.O. box that is similar to the old all new Mickey Mouse Club? You would have to have Dashing Destinations run and pick up.
Yes.
Our mail.
Yes, exactly.
And it might happen more frequently than you pick it up.
I probably would. I would guarantee it, actually.
All right. So the first topic here tonight. Oh, now I'm realizing there's so much on so many banners here. Carrying the banner. Halfway to the holidays. And people are asking right now, did he really say that in a bad New York accent? Did he say banner like that? Or did he? No, that's how the 8-year-old had to learn how to sing Carrying the Banner. In Newsies, Carrying the Banner.
They do so many accents with those shows.
There were some strong English accents, British accents.
7-year-old, very impressed. Very impressed by that, because also that is something she has been trying to do this year, is do a British accent. And so the fact that so many were doing one, and then there was a girl in the show who then talked to the 8-year-old after, and she heard the real voice and was like, how did she do that? How was she able to do all of that? And she sang with that voice. What? Yeah.
Very, very, very skilled. Much great skills going on.
So much talent.
Much. And more to come, I'm sure.
Yes.
So halfway to the holidays, announced earlier this week, and Jen is here for all of it. She loves talking about Christmas prior to Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching or listening for the first time, she despises anything Christmas. She's a Christmas hater until Santa Claus crosses the Macy's star on Thanksgiving morning.
I wouldn't say I'm a Christmas hater. I love Christmas so much that I think it deserves its time in the sun and its spotlight and all of the things. But although now that it's the last day of school, that means it's basically Christmas. So we might as well talk about it.
I mean, yeah, we're already like summer over. I mean, summer's going to go so fast.
I know. And one day we're going to get back to Dillo's madness this summer. It's going to be great.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's July is next week. It's going to be in its unprecedented 5th month.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on. Let me just highlight this comment right here. Val, thank you so much. Thank you, Val. I very much appreciate that.
Just in general.
Did you all the time, not just about Christmas, but always. That's what I think she meant. I don't know.
Oh, because of your rule about Christmas?
Yes. I'm assuming.
All right, so I'm just going to focus on this article from DisneyParksBlog.com, which is 5 new and returning holiday offerings coming to Walt Disney World. I always love when they have the new and returning, because really it's like there's one word of this article that'll be different. And Jollywood Nights is returning. That's number 1 here. After some critical response following the opening of Jollywood Nights, as it were. It is back November 9th through December 21st. You can get Holly and Jolly, both of those. You can get Holly and Jolly for 5 festive hours, 7:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. during this limited capacity, separately ticketed event. One thing that was talked about, and I'm going to make sure if it's here or not, but they announced that there'd be an ice skating rink at Hollywood Studios during Jollywood Nights. Have you heard about this?
I did not. No. Where?
I'm going to go ahead and guess I guess I don't know, but I would, all things go right in front of that Chinese theater. Don't it?
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
up on the steps.
Yeah. You want to put a Christmas tree there. You want to put a sorcerer's hat there. You want to put a giant video screens there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Might as well put an ice skating rink there. We also call it the Nose if you're a cast member of the studios back in the 1990s, because if you look at the map, and it was Mickey's head back in the day, that part right there was called the Nose.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I call it. It's the Nose.
The Nose of MGM Studios.
So I'm predicting that the ice skating, maybe they've announced it already. Someone can correct me in the chat, should you so choose. But I'm guessing it will be at the Nose of #GoAsMGM. Are rare character hugs on your holiday wish list? You're in luck. This year's event includes over 20 unique character experiences featuring both new and returning favorites. We must say new and returning. Bo Peep, Lotso, Baloo, and King Louie in their tailspin costumes. Come on. Yes.
I feel like there is a pretty big fan base for Lotso, and I find that interesting. But I guess, like, people love Disney villains, so
Right.
it shouldn't be that weird. But I'm like, it's interesting that he gets as much love as he does, considering who he was in the movie.
We're not going to tangent into this, but is Lotso a top 3 Pixar villain all time?
Oh man. I would have to, obviously I have to think about that if I'm ranking something.
I was going to say 5, and I was like, no, better than 5. I'm going to say 3, and then I was like, well, maybe it's 5. I don't know.
I mean, is who would you put at the top, Sid?
Right away, I was like, oh, I could name all 3 Toy Story movies, the first 3 Toy Story movies. Yeah.
Frasier? Who is it?
Right. Frasier, and I almost said Sideshow Bob, which is his Simpsons character. So, right, the prospector. But Al's Toy Barn. It could be Al in who steals Woody to begin with in Toy Story 2. What's the Randall from Monsters Inc.? I think he's pretty scary.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
I mean, we can't talk really about the grasshopper in Bug's Life. I
think, but this might have to be a whole deep dive episode one day. We just talk about Pixar villains. They don't get, as a group, they don't get, I don't think, enough attention like Disney villains do.
I'm sure somebody has done it.
Oh, sure.
There has to be a bracket out there of March Madness of Disney villains on one side and Pixar villains on the other side. Somebody must have done it.
And probably did it in a March.
It's the month of March. They got it done on time.
Right.
Okay? Not in July, or not never, like we did last year. Oh, sorry. Here we go. I don't know what this line means. OG. It does say it means OG. I thought maybe it was like they were trying to say something different than OG, but no, they're saying OG.
Do you not know what OG is?
OG Disney Jollywood Nights fans will remember. You remember last year, OG Jollywood Nights fans. Remember last year?
Remember that?
OG Disney Jollywood Nights fans will remember Ollie, the most dapper gingerbread man in Hollywood. This year, we're introducing a new merchandise collection inspired by Ollie, because Ollie, I don't know. Ollie, featuring items like a Minnie Mouse ear headband and festive apparel. I'm just looking at these pictures, Jen. This is the first time I've heard anything or seen anything about Ollie.
Sure.
But I'm going to already rank Ollie above Duffy the Bear.
Oh, wow. I mean, probably. Yeah.
Another look.
Yeah, probably.
I don't like that Duffy the Bear. I'm just saying.
Nobody does. I mean, I guess people do. People do.
Those days, 55 Gerard Street, number 987.
Listen,
New York, 11743.
If Duffy makes you happy, so be it. I will say, my kids, they had a Duffy book when they were babies. We read the story. They liked Duffy, in that sense. Duffy has his place. I guess it was hard for us, I think, to accept Duffy because who's this Duffy? Where did he come from? I know he has a whole backstory, but does he? I don't know, and all of that. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think Duffy came out in the mid-2000s. Can someone confirm that to me?
Oh, well, in the mid-2000s.
Yeah, just to share, because we are a theme park podcast, the dates for Jollywood Nights: November 9, 13, 16, 18, 23, 25, 30, and December 2, 7, 11, 14, 18, and 21. It's on my short list to try to get to one of those Jollywood Nights this year. Do I think it's going to happen?
Right. Interesting. and okay. Well, we're talking about number 2. So okay, let's
No.
get into that
Well,
after.
well,
No,
please add. What?
no, I had a question, but I'll wait until after we cover number 2 because they go together. So
Okay. So this is the return of the Very Merry Christmas Party. It makes a festive return like it does every year. We got some merch. The Spirit jersey is not bad.
mhm.
This year, you can look forward to a new merchandise collection featuring exclusive apparel. Scrolling down, the Very Merry Christmas Party is a limited capacity 5-hour holiday event kicking off November 8th and running on select nights through December 20th, 7 p.m. to midnight. That would be November 8th, 11th, 12th, 14th, 15th, 17th, 19th, 21, 22, 24, 26, 27, and 29. And December 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15, 17, 19, and 20. I wasn't going to say December before all those dates. And then I realized just how many dates there were.
Who's playing that in Lotto? Someone do it.
4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42.
There's a lot of lightning happening out the window right now.
No, I know. I'm hammered outside the window here. I can't wait to hear the rain hitting the window on the mic.
Yeah.
On the audio. Lost is coming back to Netflix starting July 1st. I'm like, oh, is it rewatch?
It might be time for a rewatch podcast.
That would be good. What were you going to say about Very Merry Christmas Party and Jollywood Nights?
So I see this question going around a lot of the which would you rather? Would you do both? If you were there, would you do both? Would you pick only one? And then which one would you do?
I mean, here's the thing about Jollywood Nights. I want to do it because I love MGM at night. I love MGM at night at the holidays.
Yeah.
If I went in November, maybe I would save a couple of dollars. I don't, so as the thunder rolls, and so that is where I lean, and maybe I'm leaning that way too now that we'll be doing our the second annual Not So Scary meetup. I'm like, do I need to go to a Magic Kingdom party again so soon, or do I need to try a different park? So that's how I feel.
Right.
You?
Yeah. I mean, there is a part of me that leans more towards Jolly. But again, I need some Epcot time, even though there's no official thing. But I need to have some Epcot Christmas time too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would probably lean more towards studios, since it is, I know there's a lot of OGs out there, but it is pretty new. So I would probably want to check it out.
The only thing that I think the Very Merry Christmas Party, where the scale weighs greatly in favor, is the fact of the parade in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's nothing you can do to match that. So you had to choose, and people were like, but the parade.
Yeah.
Very solid argument.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So speaking of Epcot, segue.
They're bringing back segues to Epcot? What?
Yeah, it's funny how that works sometimes. International Festival of the Holidays, presented by Advent Health, because they have a big, holy alliance now with Advent Health.
It's going well.
Holidays are a global tradition, and starting on November 29th through December 30th, enjoy festive traditions from around the world. The storytellers, the dishes, the merch, the entertainment, and more. Of course, where then you have the candlelight processional, and we'll all wait with bated breath for the celebrity list once again to see who we won't be able to see this holiday season. You would have to include an Epcot, Jen. You just get, for me, I'm like, okay, can I go down in the morning? Can I go to a party at night? Can I come home the next morning on a weeknight? That is where I am, because I feel like that is all I will have time for. But you feel you need. I think Jen's weather still happening, or is it my weather?
Am I good? Who can see me? Anyone see me?
So the question I posed was, because my thought of if I'm able to do a holiday party, it's because I can go down on a weeknight morning, do the party that night, and come back the next morning.
Right.
You feel if you're going to go to holidays, and obviously getting down there is the hardest part. But you need Epcot holiday time the next time you're down for the holidays.
Yes, because I have not been in. I mean, I don't think I've been in the parks around the holidays except
After.
2018, which was like New Year's Eve, but that doesn't really count. We were already Christmas over already for us, so it was hard. But before that, probably not since I lived there, and especially Epcot. And since doing this podcast, I have heard so many amazing things about the holidays at Epcot that I'm like, no, I need time there. I need to go.
Right.
So that's on the list.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in general, for me, to your argumentative point, is I feel like I haven't truly, and I'm probably just not remembering, experienced the storytellers and things like that fully.
Yeah. I
think I've always in passing, walking through, something like that, but never I'm going to make the effort to hit a couple of these, watch the whole show, and kind of take in a little more of Christmas in each area.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't done that to its fullest, or even, I'll even say I don't know if I've done it to its half potential.
Yeah. Yeah. I recall the processional a little bit more from when I was there and working there, but I don't think I appreciated it or really experienced enough of it overall. But, if the time I'm there, if maybe I need to align of who's leading the candlelight processional, but I don't think I would get that lucky to have all the stars align where it's like, ooh, this is someone I really want to see, and I can do this, and I can do that.
In the chat, Lewis is giving me grief about how much I love Citizens Hollywood Street Mo, but not giving enough time for the storytelling performances. I'm going to say partly it's probably the timing of whenever I was there.
Yeah.
And maybe it's been so long since I've been there in the month of December that I can't really say for sure. And especially that this doesn't extend, it ends usually right before New Year's.
Yeah.
There is a lot of time. I can speak on many years that I have been there the first week of January in some capacity. And so this was not a viable option either. And that is probably more of what I'm remembering is the decor might have still been up in Epcot.
Right.
But the entertainment was no longer a portion.
Yeah.
La Bufana, the Christmas Witch. That's really what I want to do.
Yes.
I'm just going to point this out here. We had Jollywood Nights returning at number 1. We had that hashtag always MGM. We had the Magic Kingdom number 2 with the Very Merry Christmas Party. We had Epcot number 3. So you would think if we're going in the order of the theme parks, that Animal Kingdom would be in the title for number 4. But instead it says 4 more festive offerings across Walt Disney World Resort.
It's an umbrella title.
This blog. I did not pre-read this blog. So this is all in the moment for me. Why is this not number 5? Why is an Animal Kingdom number 4? Just a question to ponder here on this live stream / podcast.
And why are they not? You know what? Animal Kingdom deserves its own number and its own show. Why the umbrella title? Animal Kingdom and Disney Parks blog. Why not its own thing? We would never do something like this because they deserve their respect.
And not only that, but then again, it talks about the Merry Menagerie, which everyone loves. Seems very cool. I want to see it myself someday. It gets, let's see, 2 sentences here about the Merry Menagerie, and then it jumps right back to the Yuletide projection show on the Hollywood Tower Hotel. That's it. That's all you get for Animal Kingdom. That's all we're mentioning right now on this top 5 list.
All right. Well, that's that.
So Magic Kingdom will host a Frozen Hollywood surprise. You got the Christmas tree stroll in Disney Springs. You got Santa Claus. Oh, number 5, gingerbread houses and decor galore. This is the rest of the Walt Disney World Resort. Why are we repeating this?
Yeah. That's interesting.
Very, very interesting and entertaining parks blog here.
Yeah.
But again, I know it's the end of June. It's almost July. It's almost Christmas in July. But seeing this, I'm like, all right, Christmas. I see you far away. What can I make of it?
Right. Yeah. Interesting. It's all very interesting, especially with those JetBlue flights from Long Island.
Oh, that now that you say that, that does make a quick turnaround trip all the more possible.
Correct.
Oh, whose birthday is it this year?
Yeah.
How many things do I finagle for my birthday? That's the real question.
Yeah.
So that's the halfway holidays portion, and we're only 35 minutes in, so it's just fine. We're
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time for that 10-minute last thing we want to do that we said wouldn't be 10 minutes. No, this one is going to be very quick.
Yeah, because we don't understand what's happening.
So, rest in peace, Genie Plus. Number one.
Yeah.
We hardly knew you, and we definitely didn't understand you.
No.
And now we're planning ahead with Lightning Lane entry, or we're just with Lightning Lane entry at Walt Disney World starting July 24th. So in about 3.5-4 weeks or so, you got a whole thing happening here. Jen, we've talked to Jeff for his extent. He is I would say above all else, our Genie Plus guru.
Yeah.
He is the Coach Beard of Genie Plus.
Yes, for sure. Let's go.
Let's go, Genie Plus. And now the poor man who is from Canada has to travel to Watertown, New York to make his reservations if he's staying on site 7 days in advance. But he's not the only Canadian I've seen on the X. Well, he was in our One Channel Discord, of course. Yeah. On the X Twitter, I've seen other Canadians post similar concerns about their VPN. Yeah. I'm not going to get. I know the phrase VPN. Don't ask me to explain a VPN.
Yeah, I know VPNs. Yeah.
They told me what it was in March of 2020 when I went home, and
you have to work from home now. Do you have a VPN? I don't know.
Skipper Bob's in the chat. He used to tell me, turn off your VPN so you can have a better signal for these live streams, and I listened most of the time.
Yeah, but he just happened to come across whatever that meant in his computer. Press buttons.
I was like, oh, VPN, I got to slide this off. Yeah. So, Genie Plus going away. I don't know what this necessarily means for my pocket. It doesn't because I didn't buy it. But just to scroll down, on July 24th, Walt Disney World will introduce new, simpler names to provide more clarity for everyone. Do you know who you're talking to?
Uh-huh.
Disney Genie Plus service will become Lightning Lane Multipass, while individual Lightning Lane will now be known as Lightning Lane Single Pass. We will be updating Lightning Lane passes to help you, one, make Lightning Lane plans before you're here for added confidence. We want you to be confident when you get to Walt Disney World and not out of your mind with the anxiety and the panic.
Uh-huh.
Number two, choose your experiences and times prior to purchasing so you know what you're getting. And three, book Lightning Lane passes for multiple vacation days all in a single day. Here's how Lightning Lane passes will work beginning July the 24th. When you for the multi-pass, when you purchase the multi-pass, you may make up to 3 Lightning Lane selections in a theme park in advance of your visit. You'll also be able to choose available times as you make your selections. On the day of your visit, once you use a selection, check the My Disney Experience app, which is always very easy to use, for availability to make an additional selection. For the single pass, Lightning Lane single pass will work much like it does today, where you can secure a time to ride one of our most highly demanded attractions, where you'll now be able to make your purchase and plan in advance. So 7 days in advance for guests staying at a Disney resort for their entire stay up to 14 days. All other guests can plan up to 3 days in advance.
Just as you pause there, I will also say you're getting a little muffled. Maybe it's just me, or the signal, or maybe just double check your mic for a second. I mean, for me personally, who literally never understood Genie Plus versus Lightning Lane versus the differences versus, well, you need Genie Plus and you need a Lightning Lane, and you need it, and then the virtual. There's too many things, and I don't understand it all. So then to be like, oh, Lightning Lane is going to work like it always did. I don't know what that means. And Genie Plus is going away. I don't get it. So I just feel like they're really doing a lot with lines of attractions in the last couple of months. They're making a lot of changes when it comes to who's on what line, when and where and how, and pricing and all the things. And I think they're really probably taking the summer, which apparently has become their slow time. Who knew that was going to happen when it was the 90s and we thought it was the craziest time of year? But perhaps because it is kind of a slower time, I guess, that they can kind of play out different things to see what's really working and what's not. But overall, do I even understand close to what this means or what people have to? No, I don't. So there's that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if and when. I think there'll be a time, a day, something will happen that we will inevitably use it someday, maybe, possibly, but I love the last paragraph of this article. We deeply value the trust families place in Disney to create lasting memories, and that is why we are dedicated to making updates that improve and simplify their experience.
Okay.
I mean, you're putting yourself out there by saying it, Disney, by saying you're going to simplify the experience, because really the thing that stands out to me is my mic is better. I'm assuming.
Yes,
I'm assuming is what was I going to say? That it saddens me that people in life, and not everybody, not everyone's going to do this. But we'll never get to experience the parks the way we did when we
Oh yeah. No, that always makes me sad. The whole idea of that makes me sad. The reason we love pockets of Disney as much as we do is because of how we got to experience the parks as kids and how we were able to kind of just walk around, how we were able to go, what's this line at? Okay, we'll get on this line. What's this at? Where do we want to eat tonight? Okay, let's call. Oh, we got a reservation. Like all of those things. It's so like you have to keep planning further and further out for things, and it's just too much. It's too much.
I think and again, it's subjective. Some people will find it very easy, right? But I think you just immediately place, as much as you're saying we want to make it easier for you. You start by putting stress on the vacation. Oh, it's going to be so busy that I need to do this.
Yes.
And I get it. You want slam dunk home runs. Like if you're going on vacation, like I gotta, 5 years ago, Galaxy's Edge opens. I gotta get on Smuggler's Run. Laughable now, but back then, that was it. I had to do that. This past trip I just did to Universal, like we had to do and we did. We bounced around the Express Pass and the cost of that, and we won't stay at Hard Rock to get it because that's over the edge. But do we add thing for? We didn't need it, and so to me, the gambling is always two Septembers in a row on a Saturday morning. Me 1 year, both of us last year, walked right on to Rise of the Resistance. Practice.
Yeah. Yep.
If it's a walk on, if it's half hour or less to me, it's a walk on.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that. I know some people are not. Time is precious. I understand.
Yeah.
And you that argument. Anyone who would have that argument with me, I would not be like, no, you're wrong. No.
Right. Yeah.
It's understood.
Right. And for some people, this is normal for them now and the new normal. And they can't imagine, like, if someone has just gone for the first time a year ago, used Genie Plus, used Lightning Lanes, are like, this is great. I can imagine going to these parks and not having this. Like, how do people get on rides without this? It just feels more normal now. So, I get that too. And it's just times have changed.
And that's it. It's like, and I'm curious to see what these Tiana lines are going to be when the ride officially opens and what that's going to look like. But there was a time that we would wait 15 minutes for an hour for Splash Mountain, and that was
Yeah, for sure.
But I understand if you can cut that time in half by spending more money because you have the money.
Yes.
I won't say anything else. I worry about my credit card a lot, and I can't do that. Like that.
Yeah.
If you're not worried about what you put on your credit card, go for it.
Yeah.
And also, if you have the money, because you have the money,
Right.
also go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If I covered all my tracks, I sound like the 8-year-old. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
I think also, if it lessens your anxiety, although this seems anxiety inducing for us because of what we're coming from, this may reduce anxiety for a lot of people. So that's another way that could work well.
Da, 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 da. All right. So that is the Genie Plus portion of the podcast today. We got 15 whole minutes. Yeah, I said 10 minutes. I didn't say we have 15 minutes.
Yes.
My God. Jen,
Yeah.
last week. Yeah, are you going to say something?
I was just going to say hi to Paul, who is checking in from Facebook.
I saw following Sierra in the chat earlier as
Yes.
well. And shout out to
Hello.
Sierra.
Hello.
You saw Inside Out 2 last week.
I sure did. And you know what I first need people to do in the chat is last week I said, what are your predictions of where I might cry? Let me know. So if you had predictions and you want to see if that was confirmed, please leave it in the chat. But we didn't really get to do a deep dive because you had already seen it, but I had not. So we didn't really get into everything. You felt like it was a better overall film, right?
The first one, yes. No, the first one is the better film.
Oh,
I personally enjoyed the second one more. Did you just say the reverse?
I think I said the reverse. Yeah. So what do you think made you enjoy Inside Out 2 more? Also, there may be spoilers if you haven't seen it. Okay.
I thought it was just, I thought the pacing was a little faster. There was a little more going on. I don't want to start getting critical on it. So that's the first thing. I think I related to it more than even when I've gone back and watched the first one since having a daughter 8 years ago. It still wasn't clicking for me. So, but this time around, and maybe it's my own personal anxiety, and then with that, I felt more connected to it as a whole. And then obviously as someone who played team sports and did a lot of summer, side, not a camp necessarily, but a summer, you go play with the best kids in the county kind of thing. I could relate to that a lot.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And go, oh, this was anxiety. Today, on the TikToks, when you scroll through and it says, like something, there's like some, blow your mind quote about anxiety. And you're like, oh, like, oh, you go back and watch the same movies over and over again, for example. Right. Right. Like that's Jen's life. But also me. And what blew my mind today, I was scrolling for something and on the subway or whatever, and an old wrestling clip came on. And first I was like, oh, I go back and watch old wrestling because of what what it was when I was a kid. But also when I was a kid, you had the big stars. And they don't do this anymore. You had the big stars, and they would face the skinniest guy, like the skinniest weakling guy. No offense to anyone, but like they find someone and just like who's had one wrestling class and put them in the ring with like King Kong Bundy, and it's like, what are you doing? and but you knew who was going to win the match. I was like, oh. Did I really get into wrestling and like these shows because I always knew who was going to win every week? Is that what happened?
Maybe.
Anyway, I digress. But Jen, you think the first movie is still better?
I guess so, just at its core. I know in the Discord there was a little bit of back and forth, and I can't remember who said it, sorry. That it may have been Lewis, that they had hoped they saw more of the new and old emotions interacting more. And again, I will probably say spoilers. So I felt like there was a reason they got pushed to the back burner. I think that's a lot of the story.
Mhm.
You know, and it was, I think Joy said it at some point, no one emotion dictates who Riley is.
Right.
And I just, throughout the movie, I just kept going, oh, this is very well done. Oh man, this is very well done. How
Mhm.
you're doing this, how you're showing a panic attack, how you're
Mhm.
showing grounding techniques where she's touching
Mhm.
the bench
Mhm.
and listening to the ice and the skates. And
Mhm. Mhm.
I loved the levity, because you can't do too much of that for the kids, right? Because then they go,
Right.
oh, are you trying to teach me something? No. So you have the levity of like the dark secrets
Oh
and
yeah.
the preschool show.
Yeah.
First of all, the 10-year-old loved Pouchy, and I'm like, well, that's because you love Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and love Toodles. So I mean, it makes
Right.
sense that you loved
Right.
it.
That's funny. I didn't even think about Toodles. I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, what? I don't know. I was going like to Handy Manny or like
Oh
like
yeah,
what,
yeah,
all that. But I was like,
yeah.
what is this most reminiscent of? But that Toodles is the great. That's
Oh, Pouchy.
yeah,
Yes, oh, Toodles. Yeah. Um, but that in the video game and how he was like, and the different animation, like all that was just so funny. And introducing sarcasm with the so you had these moments where you're laughing as well. And I appreciate that they had appearances by Nostalgia
Oh yeah.
and just kept selling Nostalgia to I was like, that's amazing. That's so good. But yeah, I mean, I just thought that, I think the whole time I'm just like, this is well done. This is so well done. They're really showing it. The storm of anxiety, my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Whew, you could feel it. And I think that was it too. I think I did have, whereas Bing Bong made me cry, I think I had more of like, oh God, I can feel all of this more
More of a
in this
visceral
movie. Yeah,
reaction.
yeah. And just, anxiety's eyes welling up. I was like, oh, well, now it's getting me. Well, now this is happening. But yeah, so it's a different movie. It's an introduction, because I know they're going to have shorts, right, with
Yeah.
Riley now. I think,
Mhm.
it's an introduction of how emotions get more complex over time and how people get more complex, and how, it's even joy and anger had their own moments of not acting like joy and anger and being more complex in
Right.
themselves.
Right. Right.
And like
Yeah.
all of that was just super interesting, and I loved how they did that. So I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I have appreciation for it. As an overall film, I guess I also like originals. I tend to go towards that as
Yeah.
like but you can't beat this. But I mean, I loved it regardless. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what I mean. I think I wasn't really expecting to say, oh, I played summer baseball with kids from it. Like I hadn't thought of that until I
Yeah.
just started talking just now, which is
Mhm.
really funny. Uh, I was like, well, I can relate to. Oh, I played with other kids from the county. Like, oh, it's different. Um, but in the overall, I think I can't believe they waited this long. I mean,
Mhm.
like it makes
Mhm.
sense because of to give Riley real time to grow up and let those kids who were little back then grow and
Yes.
see.
Yes.
Like it's obviously a very smart play by Disney and Pixar, but obviously now this is an empire they will build on. It,
Yes. Oh yeah.
I think with my light just got really bright.
Oh yeah.
Happened. And I think that in the overall, like the shorts we mentioned, but we talked a little bit of last week about it's going to be an attraction somewhere. It's
Oh
going to
yeah.
be. They
Yeah.
can't not do it.
Yes, yes, for sure. And I do think that Pixar overall always has a good way of making you feel these movies.
Yeah.
So although I could feel a lot of the anxiety and the tension and all of that in this movie, in the first movie when Riley is like running away and then just sort of having that breakdown of like, this whole move has been all too much for me, and like obviously I'm crying during that whole thing as well, with her parents hugging her and all the things. I did see Lewis was the one who mentioned the emotions working together again here. So I think just want to shout
I
him
thought
out for that.
Jeffers mentioned Dora's backpack from Dora the Explorer. I thought that
Yeah.
was great.
And I'm sure it's like also like a combination of a lot of things. But yeah, for sure. And Lewis is saying, why didn't they just use Mickey? Yeah.
Why didn't they use Figment?
Oh man, see what a great imagine what Twitter X would have done had Figment been in Inside Out 2.
When they go into the imagination, like with the
Exactly.
desks and the whole thing.
Oh my god. I mean, all of it, and like putting when she can't sleep and like show her this projection, show her this project. Oh my god, yeah, man, it's good. But
yeah,
Val pointing out joy telling sadness, where you go, where I go, you go.
Yeah,
and like just all of that. Yeah.
All right, before we go,
yes, with plenty of time, not 10 minutes.
Plenty of time. So I mean, this is what we dedicating 15 minutes here to Inside Out 2. Again, and to say the box office numbers were above what everyone was predicting in its second weekend. You gotta make movies people want to see in a movie theater. Do better, movie studios, not Pixar, not Disney, not Universal, all your movie studios, all of you.
Yeah, because I saw Garfield today.
Oh.
Anyway, moving on.
I've been seeing people rant on Twitter about it. So about before it even opened, I think. So you had an idea that I thought wrapped into the pick sixes I've been making you do recently of ranking 6 things. But as they relate to Inside Out 2, it's a little game that everyone in the chat here can play as well. But it requires quick thinking and instincts because we only have a few minutes left here.
I don't have either of those things when ranking, and this was my idea. Did I come prepared? Nope.
God, Jen. All right, Jen. Share. I mean, we could also we could announce it and then bring it back next week.
Lewis, I don't personally recommend Garfield. Everyone could see it, whatever. I think it was hard to come off of If and Inside Out 2 and then Garfield. That was a little bit rough. I think Garfield and Odie, it's nice to see them, and the middle part. Okay. So, well, did we say exactly what we're doing here? We're matching. You did. You explain.
No, it's your thing.
I have to say it. Oh,
yes.
Oh. So I was thinking we could match attractions to the Inside Out emotions. Now, you would think I would come prepared with a list. I did not. So I will be going off of it, I guess.
I mean, are you going to write them down, or should we think on it for a week and
we
come
can
back
think on it? We can think on it. That's fine. So you know what? And everyone should think about it.
Right.
And if you want to X tweet us, Facebook us, one channel Discord us, the Instagram, the TikTok, wherever. If you would like to tell us which attraction you associate with which Inside Out 2 emotion, because there's more of them, so let's really broaden it here. Let us know. We'll share them next week along with our own. Maybe I'll have a decision on mine by then.
Yeah. You want to give an example? You have an example that made you
sure.
Yeah.
I would say Joy is the people mover. It's probably the only one I would solidify there.
I'll go out on a limb here and say Ennui, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I'm like, fine, I'll go on it, but I'm just going on it because I love the building, not because of anything other than that.
I like that one. All right, that's a good one. So those are 2 examples. So you all create your own based on the Inside Out 2 emotions. You leave them in our comments in our Discord. If you want to email us at dillosdiz@gmail.com, do that. And then we'll share them here next week along with our emotional attractions.
Yes, emotional attractions next week.
Yeah.
I originally in my head, I was like, do we live watch our 1988 version of the Spirit of America parade?
Oh.
But, that's a bigger
task. It's the
Spirit
of America. Yeah,
going strong and proud. We couldn't do it on Theme Park Thursday Eve because of the presidential debate on Theme Park Thursday night. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da,
my goodness. Val, I mean, I'm going to share a few here,
Okay.
if that's okay with everybody. Val saying Inside Out 2 needs to go into the Wonders of Life Pavilion. We agree, Val. Lewis is saying Joy is Expedition Everest. Absolutely, Lewis. That is totally yours. And Ennui is Small World / Peter Pan for him. Jeffers is asking if anxiety is Tron. I mean, it might be. Jeffers, I have to do a deep dive on all the attractions and my experiences.
I showed the 8-year-old a ride through a Velocicoaster. She's like, "Oh my god!" And I was like, "This would be anxiety. That would be anxiety for you."
Oh, that would be my anxiety is watching her. But please, I think all of the, except for Joy, all of the emotions for me on Velocicoaster. Jeffers saying emotional attractions t-shirt coming to TeePublic soon. Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
with just the little circles of like the color. I'm not going into detail. Don't steal our idea, anybody.
yeah, that's it.
Trademarked.
We're stealing an IP, but we're gonna trademark it.
It's our idea. We did what?
Like we do. Oh, well, thanks for spending a little time with us here on our YouTube channel on Theme Park Thursday Eve, or if you're listening to the audio podcast in your favorite podcatcher on Theme Park Thursday, or maybe in March of 2029. Who knows? Are we finishing March Madness in time that month? Who knows?
We don't know. We don't know. But we're bingy, so
yeah, we're bingy, and that doesn't mean that the podcast is confirmed for continuing through March of 2029.
And speaking of anxiety, there goes everyone's anxiety. There it goes.
But make sure to check us out as we've been promoting here across the scrolling on the YouTube channel, DillowsDizResort.com. That's our Patreon with memberships beginning as low as $1 per month. DillowsDizResort.com. $1 per month gets you into that one channel Discord. That community core meetup is happening in September at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Pate. And that's happening on Friday the 13th of September. Just around the corner. Jen and I, we have a lot of decisions to make about theme parks.
Yes.
In the next 8 to 12 weeks or so.
Yes.
So until next Theme Park Thursday, which would be the 4th of July, she's Jen. Somehow it will be the 4th of July. She's Jen. And I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces.